Greetings and salutations.
Hey guys, it's Sam, and I am After the Bars, and this is the Morning Mayhem Show. I forgot who I was for a second, or what channel I was on. I have so much going on today, and it's my birthday! Yay! Happy birthday! Oh, I have a sound effect. Oh, I wasn't on top of that.
Happy birthday
to me. Well, anyways, today we got a really good show. Sorry, I'm like 30 minutes late today, but I just knew I had a lot going on, and I wanted to get to know Rhonda a little bit better, who we also know as BOHO HOBO. She's going to be our guest today. She's going to tell us about her amazing testimony and transformation, all of it, about her life and the things that she's got going on, what changed her life, and we'll just start the conversation there. And what else do we got? We got a bunch of people in the chat already. That's good. Also, I'm going to be on Synchronized Souls today at 11 for my birthday show. We're gonna talk to them. I don't know what we're talking about. Hopefully, it's not all about me. But if it is, that's okay too. But I'm so excited to get to know Rhonda Sue. Hey, you know, I call her Rhonda Sue just because what her email is. It's part of her email. And I like all morning I've been singing, even in the shower, I've been like, Rhonda Sue, you got to get close to you, oh Rhonda. You know that old Peggy Sue song by Buddy Holly? It's been in my head all morning and it's nuts. I need to get it out of there. But I'm super excited to see to meet her this morning. And yeah, that'll just be in 35 short seconds. I'll see you guys in a sec. I'll start to respond.
Good morning to the chaos we ride.
So when I get texts, my own ideas.
Wake up, Sam, he's reborn again. One step forward from where he's been. Turn up the noise, flip the script today. Lights on, Sam, we've got dues to pay. A world on fire, but the winds still blow. This is Morning Mayhem, welcome to the show.
Ooh, I love that part. You know, when I'm feeling present, like in the day, like, you know, everything's like calm and I don't have like all these external things like going on, like right at this second. When I hear that, the Morning Mayhem song, like the intro I just played, man, it really resonates with me. Like, I really it gets me excited about this show and what I really wanted this show to be about and what I want this show to be about. And then, of course, having an awesome guest come on today. I don't know. It's kind of like regrounding me a little bit. And I feel like I really need that right now. Especially with like the last couple of weeks and just not being able to get back into my groove and into my lane and into my square. But I feel like I'm almost there. Getting lots of sleep too lately. I mean, like tons of sleep. So yeah, that's good and it's healthy. Just want to say hi to a few people real quick. Hey Woofy, hey Nana of Two, it's so good to see you. Nicole, it's good to see you. Thank you, mods, for being here and helping out with the show. Doing it Deb's way, awesome to see you. I'm so glad you're here, Deb, today. We got an awesome testimony today. You are Soul, thank you so much for being here. Who else did I see? Shell Dub. Hey, how are you doing today? Sherry LeBron. It's good to see you. Danette, I'm glad you're here today. I'm glad you made it here at the beginning. Probably because we're running a little bit late, right? Grateful. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And James Collins Cares is here. Good. Oh, thanks, James, for putting the link to today's show. Awesome. I was hoping you would do that. Tan Louise, good to see you. Just real. John Lazant, how you doing today, buddy? And if I missed you, I'm so sorry. I know I seen Auntie Monkey Pants in here earlier. Oh, there she is. Hey, Auntie Monkey Pants, you were here early. You probably thought the show was going to be on time today. I see BOHO Hobos here. That's good. All right, let me go back down to the bottom and bring our guest on. Here she is, BOHO Hobo.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and listening to me. It's super important to me, and I appreciate that. Happy birthday, Sam.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's weird. I'm getting older and older and older. You mentioned, you talked about like turning a certain age, and like I feel like this next, milestone, turning 60 is going to be one of the ones that kind of make it all like sink in. But now having this much wisdom, it's not that big of a deal, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember being younger going, man, when I'm 60, it's over, right? Like, because that's when like people start retiring and that's really, it's the beginning to the end. But when you have God and Jesus and like salvation, it's like, I look forward to it, but I'm going to miss everybody too at the same time. I don't know why I'm taking it all the way to the death story. Yeah, I know why, because I'm crazy. That's why. So why don't we just get the show on the road? We got about an hour and a half. That's a pretty good amount of time.
Okay.
But you'll see at the end, we'll just be like, oh man, we're running out of time. And I hate that when that happens.
Okay. So I'll just go ahead and get started. First of all, Sam, go to my channel, look up Donna Sue. I wrote it to Peggy Sue, and it is about Donna Adelson. Anyway.
Oh, so, awesome.
You'll be singing it all day, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's badass.
Hey, I have literally danced to Suitcase Sarah. I'm sorry. And please know, guys, I make fun of narcissist idiots. I would never victim blame on these cases. In fact, I honor every victim. They are not here. And somebody needs to call these people out. So that's why they are where they are, because no one has called them out their whole life. So they pushed it to the point of hurting others. And so, anyway, so I am getting ready to get my channel up and going, something I've been trying to do. Mainly right now, the only reason is because I've been trying to get the nerve. I'm a recluse, big time, especially with social media and things like that. So, but time has been ticking, and I have been inspired over the past 3 or 4 years by creators, even longer than that have led me to where I am and how I want to do this. So, my channel is going to be twofold. I have a case that I am personally involved in helping with, and it's a whole thing. So I want to start displaying evidence online with a website, all of that I've gotten started but not finished, and actually do case studies, live case studies where we lay this out and look at it. It's a long story, and as these kind of stories are, but let me tell you this. Yeah. It's a person that I've known since I was 11 or 12 years old, who went to school with until our senior year. And our senior year, a horrible crime occurred. His friend, who was 17, killed a police officer, shot and killed a police officer. My
Mhm.
friend helped him get away, took his mom's
Mhm.
car and helped him get away. They were captured out in Wyoming, and they've been in prison. My friend has been in prison since before we graduated. Okay.
Wow.
And he's my age. We turned 60, the two of us. I am not his girlfriend. I am not anything like that. This started 15 years ago, my journey for him, and it will continue. And I'll either get something done or die trying. So,
Yeah.
uh, anyway, that's one. The other one is about narcissistic abuse, which I just found out over the past 2 years is a huge thing. And it is to me, it is to people who are affected. I learned about it after the story I'm going to tell you next, which is my testimony, but I
Mhm.
learned about it afterwards. So I've only known about it for 2 years. I've been doing deep dives. I plan on putting all the videos that I've listened to, all the podcasts. And the way that I received this epiphany was through the channel Phone Calls from Prison. And it
Yeah.
literally changed my life. And so I have a whole story about
It's a
how that
great
happened.
channel.
But
Yeah.
by listening to narcissists abuse people on the phone horrifically, people that love them and believe them, I saw people in my own life and I started being like, oh my gosh, and looked up a couple things and the algorithms flooded me and I'm a new person. I am, the famous, it wasn't me. I hate to say that, but that is what happens when people realize this because they've been gaslit lit for so long. Anyway, we're gonna get
Can Yeah,
uh
I just want to say something real
yes,
fast. When I help these girls at these in these halfway houses, which isn't often, but I do. I end up meeting them at a meeting or through my wife, and my wife wants me to talk to them. It's they're always talking to someone in prison. It's like
yes,
or their husband's in prison, or someone hook them up with a pen
yeah,
pal, or or someone to call. And when they tell me what these guys are saying, I always tell them like what they're saying when they hang up that phone to
yes,
all of us. And when
yes,
they hear that, and if they believe me, a lot of times they won't believe me. They are just like, what the hell? And I
yes,
I kind of think that's a little bit of what you're talking about.
yeah,
Because I mean, well, what else could it be?
right,
It's
right.
these guys use those women and they ring
Oh,
them out, and and when the women end up broke or need
yes.
money. Now there are a lot of good guys out there that do send money home from prison,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
that are
Absolutely.
hustling in there. Yeah,
Yes.
I know girls that get all their bills paid from their old man in prison because he's in there hustling.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's probably drug money, but it's not always drug money. They might be selling hot dogs and sodas on the yard for a quarter or for a
Yeah.
stamp. But yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
I just wanted
so
to say that.
anyway, I also wanted it in addition to the narcissistic abuse, because it falls right under it. I want to touch a little bit on child abuse because there are a lot of those phone calls I listened to were people who have done that to children and worse. So I want to go into that because my mom was severely abused as a child, and so was my dad. Both of them were physically almost beat to death. So, um,
Yeah.
meanwhile, I went through some horrific domestic violence 30 years ago, but almost died. That's a whole story in itself. Um, and pretty much my mom saved me. And my mom is going to be a theme throughout everything I do. I lost her in 2018. Go listen to Yellow Rose on my thing, because that's one that I did for her. It's not funny, it's sad. But anyway, so that's what I want to do on there. Now please know that the stuff I'm about to tell you, all this was before I knew anything about the fact that I was under the spell of mean and cruel people. um and believe it or not, I escaped it. I escaped it and didn't even know that it was me, that it wasn't me. So anyway, so I moved here 15 years ago from Ohio, northeastern Ohio, Trumbull County. That's where I'm from. And I
Hmm.
moved to St. Louis for a job. I was a phys ed teacher in Ohio for 10 years. And then I came here. and started working for a big gymnastics company, and worked there for 10 years. So through that time and all along, when all this is going on, the case is always in the background in my life because it was picked up, pretty much as soon as I moved here. So anyway, I'm going through life now. We're going to fast forward my first 5 years right to the past 10 years. And at that time, my mom was sick for several years before she passed, which sucked with me living out here. But I was there every chance I could get, and I'm doing the same for my dad now. But
Yeah.
so it was rough. And I worked for a company that would never let me take off work. And long story short, I fell into the trap of being salary, but then working 80 hours a week or whatever, 60, 50, whatever. But I was working for nothing and I was doing nothing but working. And through it, though, I still believe so I'm not making enough money to survive out here in St. Louis. So I start cleaning houses for a living on the side. A coworker of mine did it. I thought I would jump in and try it. Well, extremely successful. I'm doing it to this day. I've been doing it for 10 years. And let me tell you, folks, there's some wealthy people out here who do not clean their own homes. So,
that's right.
and by the way, when I was a teacher, and I keep forgetting the guy's name, I taught the daughter of Slash's replacement from Guns N' Roses, the lead guitarist now.
Oh, okay.
Surprised me here in St. Louis because they've been banned. Look that up. There's a documentary. Guns N' Roses has been banned from here for years. But anyway, they're bad boys. They were naughty out here.
Yeah.
But so anyway, back to my story. So I'm cleaning houses and everything. Now we're creeping up on time. My mom's getting even sicker, and I discovered YouTube and loved it. Of course, I've always been a true crime fan, so I was looking up all that. Please don't judge. Fell balls deep into Bigfoot and UFOs. I'm sorry. But and I could go on. I now am educated enough that I can have an actual debate about it. But anyway,
I think Joe Rogan officially, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no.
Well, I don't want to ruin your flow, but I think officially Joe Rogan has declared that he no longer believes in Bigfoot at all.
Oh, it's a love-hate with me and Joe. Okay. It's a love-hate.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyway.
Same.
If you believe in UFOs, how could you not believe in Bigfoot? Because they're related. It sounds crazy.
Right. That's right.
It sounds crazy,
Portals.
but they are.
Yeah,
so anyway, so I was deep into that, and I fell into another channel about missing people, missing 411, follow it faithfully. So I was knee deep into that. And the work situation was worse because the devil, him herself, came into my life. And in fact, when I talk about that, the name of that one is going to be The Devil Wears Prada and Unflattering Gym Pants. My God, it's the devil. So anyway, I was under this, literally crying on my way to work every day, crying on my lunch break. A whole lot involved in that. I had gotten moved to a brand new location. So my life was in an uproar there. My mom was dying. And it was winter, dead of winter out here. So it makes that drive treacherous. But anyway, and literally the week that I moved here 15 years ago, the very week, I met a guy at an Al-Anon meeting, all for another story. Met him at an Al-Anon meeting, and we had a 10-year relationship from that day. And it was, in a word, horrific. But I learned a ton. So, but he's from LA, where Sam's from. And I always want, because same age and everything, same age group. Anyway, so I was in this horrific relationship on top of it all. So I was at my wit's end, and COVID hit. My mom passed away, and I wasn't able to be there, which is still a massive cross that I carry all the time, because my Lord, and it was because of my employer. The bottom line is it was because of me, because I didn't stand up for what I felt, and I instead appeased them, and I wasn't with my mom. However, when you hear the story, I'll always blame myself. That's why I want to help other people not do this to themselves.
Mhm.
So anyway, she passed away, and I went into a depression. Um, was completely engrossed in unaliving myself. Woke up every morning, literally flipping the bird to God, like you. I woke up again, really, and went through this for a couple of treacherous years.
Oh,
I
that's
had
a
an
long
I
yeah.
I went to handy dandy YouTube and learned how to tie a noose, and had that thing hanging in my closet for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I am so depressed, but I'm really engrossed in these Dave Politis videos. Meanwhile, I reach out to God, okay, through all this, even though I'm flipping them off in the morning, because I do have a Christian background, and another story, but was really very active in my church when my son was little. So, of course, and I wanted to say, Sam, I need your P.O. box, this book. It is very old and tattered. I read one
Yeah.
page a day. It has 365 pages in it. You will never, ever open it and read it and not say, OMG, that's what I needed to hear for this specific day. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I
Crazy.
love that.
I have gotten so religious about it that I have a note on my door, and I am not allowed to leave in the morning. I don't care if I'm running late. Someday when I look down on this, being 5 minutes late or whatever isn't worth sitting down for 5 minutes and having peace with what brought you peace in the first place, and give thanks. So
Yeah.
anyway, and it does make my day better. Call it superstitious, but I'm almost afraid to leave without doing it, that it could be a catastrophe out there waiting. So
Mhm.
that I need to be
Yeah.
better prepared for. So
Yeah.
anyway, I was reading the book, and I was, delving into a couple channels, but not as many as I should have. But all of a sudden, because this Dave Politis with the missing 411, he posts every other day, just about. And right through it, his adult son, who a little bit younger than my son, passed away, uh, unalived himself. And after you listen to a creator, sit behind the mic or whatever, like we do with Sam, and you get to know them and know their spirit and their soul. And oh my gosh, it killed, I know, a lot of us viewers horribly to watch him. And this is still a process the man's going through, okay? And I forget the exact year that happened, but it was after my mom passed. But it rocked my world,
Mhm.
because it brought me into a perspective of not myself, looking at the people around me, what that would do. Me sitting and plotting all this stuff, what, to destroy their lives for eternity? My
Mhm.
family, and that totally turned me literally on a dime, on a dime. So I cut that idea, and now COVID's here, and the person I was in the relationship with, he was my landlord. Long story, but he was my landlord. He owns
Mhm.
some houses out here, and COVID hit, and as it would happen every year, we had this agreement. This is my life. I'm just going to say it. I would get my income tax check around February, March. So I would stop paying rent in December, right in time for Christmas. And as soon as I got my income tax check, got him paid up. Did this for 10 years. Okay. So it was just
Oh, you froze. Oh, looks like she froze. Hopefully she'll come back here in a second. Rhonda Sue, Rhonda Sue. Got to back to you, oh Rhonda. Oh Rhonda Sue. Well, sorry guys, looks like she froze. Hopefully we can get her back. Dang, it was getting good too. Thank you everyone for the happy birthday wishes. Thank you so much, Beej. Thank you, just everybody, whoever I didn't miss. Oh, yep, she's gonna have to sign back in. I completely lost her. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I'm sure she'll be right back. In the meantime, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Sam Casper, whatever the fuck your name is. Happy birthday to me. And many more. I don't know where the F that came from. Oh man, that is crazy. Isn't Rhonda amazing? She's just an amazing chick, man. All right, cool. She's back. We got her back. Let me
Okay. Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yep.
Okay. So
Do you know where you were?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. So anyway, I was the only one living there by then because at one point my adult son lived with me. He was in and out with marital issues, but I was by myself and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. Because I also fell into the rabbit hole of living on the road, redoing a bus and making it your home and all that. So I thought
I was going to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Pay for all this. I pay for a whole house to be heated when I'm in one room for about 8 hours every day because I was working two jobs. So I stopped paying rent. And for a couple years at the end of this relationship with the landlord, the reason that it lasted that long for one reason is because he was my landlord. I couldn't just get him completely out of my life. And then, at the end, I was doing all kinds of weird tests on him because I didn't realize. And I thought, let me see if during COVID, if this dude is going to have the balls to kick me out on the street. And like a good narcissist, he did have the balls to do that. I didn't care by then. By then, I had given everything up to God. And at that point, my dad was still healthy. He's declining now, but at the time, he was super healthy. I called him all the time. And he said to me, Rhonda, you haven't made any plans. What are you going to do? Because I'd gone a couple months into not paying rent. And I said, Dad, if Dan has to come and lift me up and put me right in the street to get something to happen, that's fine. But I'm waiting this out. It's in God's hands. I am doing nothing. I am not. And I literally could have cared less. So anyway, it ended up, it's a whole story. But I ended up moving. I was having a yard sale, getting rid of everything. You know, you have to minimize if you're going to live in a van someday. And at the time, I had a car. My car now, you'll know about her. Her name is Carol. Okay, short for Caroline. She's been with me since 2013. The girl made me a lot of money. And the girl has just been dependable. Love her. So
yeah, I had a Honda. I called him Hank.
Oh,
reliable Hank. Yeah.
Yes, I'm telling you. So anyway, so I'm having my yard sale, and we had one every summer at the first weekend in June in the neighborhood. So the regular ladies, I had all these older ladies that used to come to mine, and I said, "Hey, ladies, this is the last one. I'm leaving. I'm moving." Well, where are you going? I said, I don't know. And they said, "Oh, well, when do you have to be out?" And I said, the end of this week, by the end of this week. And they're like, "And you don't know where you're going?" And this lady who I knew to see, but you know, I would see her down at the Dollar General or whatever, but goes walking by me, doesn't stop or look at me. But as she's walking by says, "You can come on down to my place." I chased her to her car. I literally ran after her and said, "Are you serious?" She said, "Yep. As soon as you close this up, I'm right around the corner." She gave me her number and address. Literally a block away. Yeah. And long story short, I moved there. I lived with her for 3 years, and her name's Barbara. Her name's Barbara. And I love the fact that you are not in any way racist, because she's a Black woman and she is my second mother. Now she is my mother from another brother or my sister from another mister, but the woman saved my life. And if you've ever
She's
heard
your
of,
real Q. That's what, yeah.
And
Your real one. Yeah.
her whole, we joked about it for 3 years because the whole little end of the street where she lived, they were all Black people. And I was like the token white woman. And I loved every minute of it. I learned how to play harmonica in her garage.
Oh my God, that's so badass.
Yes. So anyway, real quick, back to right before my mom died. I was so stressed out in my life. And
I'm going to grab a water. Okay.
Sure. Have at it.
Okay.
I could go on for days.
Okay.
So, so anyway, when my mom was still good enough that we could have good jovial conversations, or I could still, ask her questions and stuff, or just talk to her about my life. And I said, Mom, there's really no answer. I don't see any way out of this. It would take a miracle. It would take a miracle for something, for this game plan, this path I'm on to change. And she real calmly just said, you'll get your miracle. And, at the time, in my mind, I'm rolling my eyes like, please, Mom, please, I need advice, not this, But anyway, so COVID hits. Now, I had stopped, voluntarily quit the first of the year with a gymnastics company and decided to do more cleaning. So, but there was one location I really enjoyed. So I stayed there 1 day a week, 4 hours a week, starting in January of 2020. I would go down there and work just for 4 hours because everybody there was really nice. So then COVID hits, everything closes, and the whole world's getting unemployment. And I'm like, I literally just quit my job 2 months ago. I've been working there 10 years, could have gotten great unemployment. But the miracle is I had that 4 hours a week still with the company. So I was still technically employed there. And miracle number one, my gosh, I don't have to, I can take a minute to breathe at Barbara's. It was a great experience the whole time there. And that was the one big miracle. And I would say to myself all the time, Mom was right, because I would have never seen COVID coming or any of that, So, so then after that, but please know, before I did go to Barbara's, I spent some time in Carroll. Okay. Some quality big time in the car because I was trying it out, and I did stealth camping. I did just out in the woods camping, that kind of thing, glad I don't do it full time now. So now we're going to come up to where I am now. 2 or 3 years ago, I moved here to the city. I've always lived in the county, but I live in the city now. And that was all for, I was going to stay at Barbara's till the cows came home. And my son was going through things again. Well, I'm not even going to get into that. But anyway, I ended up here and I love it. I always wanted to retire in New York City because I come from a really small Mayberry-ish town. And so this is just as good. I mean, this is just as, I love every second of it. I'm happy every day. I literally am thrilled to go to work. I go and clean for people, and it's so, I can't believe I'm this happy. I can't believe it. And it is all because of God, because if I would have tried to control any of that, I don't even know where I'd be. And even now. And so through with all, I do look for signs. I don't just give up on life and do nothing. Yeah. I look for signs. So,
but see, that's the best thing, because like through no effort of our own, God will insert those people and like circumstance and situations.
Yes.
Where it doesn't feel like we're just a plaything of circumstance. I always liken it to like a kiddie ball, we are the kiddie ball, and a cat is just batting us around, and that is the circumstance. And when God takes over, we don't feel like that plaything anymore. Yes. We feel like, wow, God's got a purpose for us. He's, you know what I mean? He's moving us in the direction he wants us to be. Okay, go ahead.
And now, just to touch on me getting the case out and looking for signs. I've been doing that for 15 years with this. Okay. And, and I've had ups and downs. Oh my gosh. And quite honestly, I'm very embarrassed to say, but I had the attention of the podcast called Serial. I had their attention and a couple other people, and I chickened out, dropped the ball, took a long time to respond. And now I've tried since then and they're not getting back to me, which is fine. I just keep telling I was afraid for real reasons, and I'll explain that later. But,
Yeah.
but then my latest was with Tommy. I met him from Surviving the Survivor channel, which I follow a lot. And, went to Tommy's channel and loved that. He brought up Q and he had me for life. I mean, and I really, really thought he was going to help me. And so again, with the letdown, like you said, the cat ping pong, but you know what? Sometimes it's for a reason, because on the rebound, I found Sam.
It's always for a reason. Yeah.
And I found this community that I do not feel the least bit intimidated to sit here and explain things to you. And I'm hoping someone out there can help me. My friend, he's 60 years old. And to be honest with you, I don't think he's ever getting out. That's how high the corruption goes out there. And I haven't told him that, but I have had to make peace with that. But if anything, this story has to get out. The town that it happened in, the mayor's in prison. The previous mayor's in prison now, been there for years. And that's just nothing compared to the other stuff. Nothing. So anyway,
he got life,
he
like
got
natural.
30 to life, and his parole is every 10 years. So back when he had 30 years, 15 years ago, just about somewhere around, parole denied right off the bat. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And so he waited 10 more years, denied again. So he's going to be almost 70 when he comes up again. He'll be in his maybe 68,
That drives
maybe
me
67.
crazy that they don't do parole every year.
Not only that, Sam, the parole board is lying, or not, they're lying. The head honcho, who is, this takes balls, because I have to call out a prosecutor in this case, a prosecutor who is still acting today. But anyway, I forget where I was going with that, but
Sorry.
It's just, with the every 10 years when he denies them, it's literally a cut and paste based on a lot of, it's just silly. It's silly. I know he tells the parole board what to do. They don't know anything about the case, really. They know the cliff notes.
Right.
He tells them what to do. He has run the whole city like that. And there is another case very similar to this, same county. There's all kinds of stuff. This area has made Unsolved Mysteries a few times. That prosecutor has been on Unsolved Mysteries a few times.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think the Karen Reed trial shows us, not that I even care about Karen Reed right now, but I think just that trial shows us how a whole town and all of the prosecutors, the cops, everyone can be corrupt.
Too afraid to not to be, because if I do the right thing, I'm gone. I lose my career or whatever.
No, that's right.
Lots of money. So
their family, support, their community. Yeah.
Yes. So it's horrific. And my friend, his name is Randy. If you ever hear me talk about Randy and everything. Now, one thing that I was really, really inspired by Surviving the Survivor is that when I caught them, they were at their beginning stages. This is a man and woman team and others that help, that were in mainstream media for a long time. And when COVID hit, they started doing podcasts. So, but he also, Joel, wrote a book, and he promotes his book on there. And then he does true crime and all that. And all along with this, I am writing a book, and I do want to name my channel this too. I wanted to run it by you guys. The name of the channel, I want to call it It's About Time, because for many reasons. I could literally sit here all day. But first of all, time, the whole concept of time is the one blessing that every single human being that is born to this earth is blessed with. Now, the length of it is unknown. But what happens from the time you receive the blessing till the end is everything, is everything. And I've been telling my friend Randy all along, the timing's getting better. And dear Lord, the man's been patient. And
Yeah.
I really get that, because another thing related with time, I am impatient. I cannot manage time. Time's a big thing for me. So,
Me
but
too.
for him, I told you. So,
Yeah.
so anyway, and I told him it's getting better. And I brought up the Karen Reed thing. And believe me, back in 2010-ish, I was writing Dateline and all of the mainstream stuff, gave up on that. And so he's had all of these ups and downs too, you know? And so, but I said, you don't understand. The timing's better. The timing is just right, especially with Karen Reed, Alex Murdaugh. I could go on. I could go on, because these were boys. These were high school boys that were bullied. I was a high school girl that was intimidated in many ways by those police. They spent the day, first of all the police were in their 20s. Okay. And they spent
Yeah.
the day riding around the school all day long. Couldn't wait to bust high school kids. And so with anything, and come on, it was 1982. It was weed. And maybe if you knew somebody who was out of school, you could get some cocaine, but you know, and some
Yep.
acid and all that. But I mean, it was terrible. It was crazy. And to this day, I have PTSD. I kid you not. When I'm riding, Carol and I shriek when I see a cop. It's
Yeah.
muscle memory, because they were predators. And then I moved here. Okay. Literally right by Ferguson. When Ferguson happened, I lived over there right by them. And over in the county, not the city where I am now, but in the county, the police are predators. They're predators.
Yeah.
And they are not trying to hurt people. I imagine they can get really nasty because they deal with a lot of people, but it's all for money. It's all to make money. The ticket writing and the things they do is unbelievable. And when all of the racist stuff came out, I was screaming to anyone who would listen, because I wouldn't go on social media.
Mhm.
It's not racial. It is class. It is a class thing. Okay. It just so happens that a lot of people of certain races but I'm hanging out with these guys in this hood, and I'm getting pulled over. I am getting, I went through years where I didn't have a ticket hanging over my head at some time, and they make it really rough for you if you don't pay it. Arrest, go to jail, everything else. They pulled me over right down the street from the gymnastics facility that I worked at, right
Mhm.
before classes were ready to start, and did the whole body frisk on me.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
No.
So, yeah, just insane.
I mean, I believe you, but yeah.
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 So people are mad at the police. Now in the city, it's the wild, wild west. The police or break the rule. Nobody does anything with traffic rules out here. It is every man for
Yeah.
himself. So, so anyway, here's where we are now. And honestly, yet just another miracle that I would be hit by the cat and pinged over to this community, because I truly have feeling. Like I said, I wait for signs. I feel it. I feel psyched and pumped. And I need to get this off of my plate too, as far as helping my friend and getting his story out there, because I have 2 grandkids and I'm retiring in 2 years, and I want to enjoy it. Not that I
Mhm.
don't enjoy doing this, but it almost feels like you have homework when you're in school, and you have all this homework that you need to do, but you just can't get it done,
Yeah.
So
This community is an amazing community,
oh,
and it's sometimes I feel I get a little overwhelmed, like protecting it, wanting to protect it, even though I know everyone can protect themselves.
yes.
But there are like these weird outside forces, and not to be dramatic, but there's like these weird situations that try to come into this community and pick off people or groups,
Right.
because there are, this community is like, has been formed by, I don't like from, what's the, not rejects, but, like
Misfits.
misfits,
Yes.
from other, yeah,
I've been
from
hanging
other,
on the island of misfits for years.
yeah, misfits is what I was looking for. And, from all these other communities, and they all know each other or know about each other or know about situations. And when, but we're all just in here trying to be,
Yes.
one,
Yeah.
welcoming all newcomers, right?
Yes.
But when we blindly welcome all these, welcome newcomers, we just don't know the motivation behind, certain people. So it's hard to, I keep wanting to use the word protect, but that's, that's not really what it is, but it is. I want to just to make sure it's just safe,
Yes.
safe for me, because I need it just as I know when the community is like, is like, going through something, it affects me, like,
Yeah.
and so like I want to protect it for not only for myself but for everyone else. And because for just what you just said, like you've found something that's important, that feels good and
Safe.
safe, and
Yes. Yeah. And any actions down here while we're on our timeline, anytime we're doing anything for the good to help and do things right, the enemy is going to fight us twofold. And so, you're going to have that coming at you, and just be prepared
Mhm.
for it, as far as things that are going to try to upset the apple cart.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then, like, when I made like mistakes with, like, the, uh, we're just calling it doxing just so people know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Those were never done on purpose. And I don't know the history, so I don't realize how important it is.
Yes.
So therefore, now I've learned a lesson to treat everything, with the utmost, not only respect, but treat it like it's everything, needs to be, treated like it's the most important thing, every
Yes.
situation. And
Yes.
it should have, it should have been that from the beginning, but I just didn't realize it, and
Yeah.
that's me learning on how to be a part of this community, and to have a
Yes.
show. And yeah.
And one thing that always stuck with me at the Al-Anon meetings, because I picked up things through the years from there and the other programs, but when I went to Al-Anon here a lot, there were parents who lost their children, to drugs
Mhm.
and that. I literally went there. I stopped going because I felt guilty. Like, that didn't happen to me. I mean, I got issues, and this really helps me. But my goodness, I feel like an idiot here because you guys, and I mentioned it to a lady, and she said, pain is pain. Okay. No matter where your pain is coming from, if you had pain that brought you here, pain is pain, and
Mhm.
that always sticks with me, because I always have to, uh, it makes me really look at other people and what is hurting them.
Yeah. 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 It's like Awakened. I've shown a couple of her comments today. I really want to connect with her like I'm connecting with you. And where it's been like over a month of trying to get you onto the show, and then that's been all me,
Oh,
of
I'm the
just
same way. I'm the same
feeling like I'm
way.
trying to catch up with everything. But I think today is now a nice new beginning of the show, to
Yes.
where instead of you know, all the things that I do about like Carmelo Anthony and Karen Reed, that can come second. But
Yes.
I think now I want to do things like this more in the show, because if I claim for this to be a recovery first program, which it always is, and in my heart of hearts it has been, but I say recovery first, and yeah, I'll stop the show if someone's got an issue. But how about just starting the show with, or just making the show just about our stories, and our transformation and our testimonies.
Yes.
Well,
and
I'm just
how we're dealing with trials, not the
yeah,
trials on the TV, but how we're
right.
dealing with our daily challenges,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
we all have them. We all have them. And if you feel like yours is petty, remember, pain is pain. I mean,
yeah,
if it's bringing you anxiety or whatever, I'm telling you, reading this reader, and I knew this was a sign because I went to this church. I'm a Nazarene. I was born and raised in the Nazarene church, but went to one here, and the lady that gave me this book, her name was Mona, and that's my sister's name, and I knew that was meant to be. And she was much older. I don't even know if she's still around, but if she only knew that I count on this every day, every single day.
yeah, yeah. Here's a good community example. Laura Kiss Freak says last night on Cricket's channel, I don't know who that is. Something awesome happened. There was a guy who owed $60 copay and couldn't get his meds. And he sent 20 in a super chat, and in minutes he had more than he needed. I think that's awesome. I see that all the time where someone will show an example of giving.
Yes.
And, for a certain something.
Yes.
And then everyone is like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that?
Yes.
And then next thing you know, now they have something for their meds, and maybe it's something a little more for, whatever else. Because if they can't afford the most important thing probably to them at that moment is meds, they're probably not eating 3 meals a day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or other things. So I think that's awesome. Lord Kiss Freak.
Yeah, I've seen that in another chat room once. It was a guy, and he had lost his whole wallet that night. He had just jumped in the chat and like, you won't
damn it,
believe what happened, and gave him the title till he got it all. You there?
Yep, you're.
Am I there?
Yep, you're there now.
Okay. So
last thing I heard was he lost his wallet.
Yeah, and they helped him. Everyone got together, and he had enough money to hold him over because that's a pain when you lose your wallet and all your ID and everything. So,
oh man,
yeah.
Were you part of the community when I lost my wallet for like 2 weeks, and it was right here in the chair? It was yeah. It was right here in my chair the whole time.
Did you go and do any of the things to get?
I did all the things. I reported all my cards lost, and
nightmare.
It was so crazy, and I was sitting on it the whole time. It was nuts. It was so nuts. Man, I was gonna say something else, and I forgot. I forgot what it was, but anyways, go ahead.
I
have nothing.
Touch back on my friend Randy. The reason this gets to me, I mean, I carry it around daily, is because I met him when we were like 11 or 12. We sat together. My last name was G, his was F, and we always had to sit by each other. And he was just my little buddy. We were buds, and through all the grades, through up to 12th grade, and during our senior year, it happened that December, and he was put in prison before we ever even graduated. And I can't imagine my life stopping. I can't imagine it. I've been very low key. Never has anything about this case been mentioned on my Facebook, because I have a ton of people. That's how Facebook started. You start going to all the people you went to school with and everything. So never mentioned a word of it, but I wanted to do things like this so I could then, I want to hit it all at once, for the main reason. So it's recorded that I'm doing this. So if something happens to me down the road, check into it at the very least. But, once I start dropping things, it's over.
So what is the main issue, in his case? Like, okay. I guess like what do you, obviously you want him released, if he can get out.
Yes.
But the reason for that is that he had minimal involvement. He was over sentenced.
Yeah, because what he did, his friend, the 17-year-old, had a pretty bad juvenile record. This is a kid that Randy was in. They lived in the same neighborhood, and the kid had a record. He got caught doing something by these 20-some-year-old cops, and they threatened him that if you don't start informing for us, we're going to put you in JJC until you're 21. So Freddie, who is the kid's name, Freddie, scared to death. So one day back in the neighborhood, he tells Randy about it. And Randy isn't a grade higher than him. And Randy's like, man, they are playing you, this and that. So Randy said, ask them if I could come along on some of these meetings because I want to see what they're doing. And it's just a long story. So Randy did go on a couple of the things, and he would drop Fred off. See, there were no cell phones, anything. They went to pay phones. So he would drop Fred off around the corner from the alley, right in the backyard of the elementary school. The cops would meet this kid to buy and sell drugs so he could go be an informant. Kid you not, right? I mean, right there where the playground is for the elementary school. But anyway, so Randy just would go around the corner, wait for him, and Fred would come back. A couple of times Randy did go in ride-arounds with them. They would take them. These cops would go to the impound, take whatever car they wanted, and act like hotshots to these kids. Let the kids ride in the back and go hot rodding around, literally letting the kids pass their service weapons around. They had sawed-off shotguns in the car that they let the kids handle. But anyway, so the night of the incident, Randy dropped him off around the corner, and he had no idea Fred was bringing a gun. And Fred went, Fred was planning an escape. Fred had family or friends, somebody in Florida, and Randy had discussed, let me get my mom's car for a day or two and drive you down to Florida, drop you off, and then I'm coming back. Tons of reasons why Randy wanted to come back. He did not want to stay in Florida. It was his senior year. So that was in the making. So Fred, I don't know Fred. I don't know Fred or anything. All I know is for what Randy told me. But I'm thinking Fred was a maniac. I mean, he crashed the day or at school, the day of the incident. He smashed computers in the lab and that. So he was a hothead.
I had so many friends like that in high school, you know, that had been to juvie or been to YA, California Youth Authority, and they would come back and you know, and they were kind of like bullies, you know, and some of them I was afraid of because, you know, they were just like kind of aggressive type kids that had been to jail already.
Very much.
And, you know, and you kind of, you know, because I hung out with the stoner kids, you know, and when that personality kid came in, you know, we pretended to be like, to like look up to him, like, but really we're scared of the guy.
Yes,
you know?
That's what it was. And Randy was trying to, he knew that this kid was a time bomb, but the night of the incident, he had no idea that this kid was toting a gun. And so he shoots the officer, comes running back and tells Randy. They go back to the scene, take the officer's gun. Randy committed crimes. You know, he took the gun and stuff and the sawed-off shotgun that was in the officer's car, and they took off in Randy's mom's car. Now, it was so unplanned that Randy's mother did not even know that he took the car, and she reported it stolen. That's the only reason they caught on to that it was these two kids, because these two cops, when they were bullying these two kids, the police, no one down at the station knew.
Yeah, it wasn't reported or anything. They didn't. I know she's frozen right now, but they didn't. You know, report what they were doing or keep a log or anything like that. I'm hoping she comes right back. Peggy Sue. That'll be our on hold music while she's frozen. But Peggy Sue, oh Peggy Sue. How about this, guys?
Mrs. Rowe, or Mrs. Helm, which do you prefer to be called?
It does not matter.
Does it not? In this country, we are inclined to take a rather more serious view of marriage. However, Frau Helm.
Oh, she's still frozen. Ah, we lost her. All right, she'll be back. Yeah,
Mrs. Rowe, or Mrs. Helm, which do you prefer to be called?
It does not matter.
Does it not? In this country, we are inclined to take a...
Oh, there she is. All
Yeah,
right.
I don't know what's going on, but so anyway, it went from there. And the one thing that they really pegged on him is that it was a conspiracy, that they had planned this whole shooting, because
Right.
there was proof in Fred's house when they went and like raided his house that he was packing to go somewhere, and Randy was too. It's a long story, but trust me, the prosecutor, the police, the coroner, years after this happened, he was highly investigated. They dug up 9 bodies, and 3 were they found were that the coroner was being corrupt.
Yeah.
So just all that stuff. But the bottom line is, before I came into Randy's life, there was another man that came into his life who wrote a book, and I'll let everyone know, the link to the book and everything, because his son was going through the same thing as Randy, except his son was facing the death penalty. And they got together, Randy, who had been working on his case. And that's the other thing. It's about time, because if he would have been given parole back after 30 years, this would have went away. If he would have been even parole 10 years ago, this would have went away. But no, they want to drag it out forever. And that gave Randy enough time to do. And then the private investigator, a licensed private investigator, did years of investigation. His brother, when he retired from the sheriff's department and had the end to get carte blanche of any records he wanted, spent a long time collecting all of it. He was later shunned by the police community for doing so. But
Randy's brother, or
no, the investigator's brother.
Oh, okay.
So because it's just a long story. The investigator's the one that wrote the book. But so the investigator, years have gone by, and the investigators passed away, and I have picked up the torch. So but everything, all of the hard work's done. I have all the evidence. I literally was handed all of it, and it is astounding. And it is literally, when I try to explain this to anybody in real life, they look at me like I'm telling them that I was visited by an alien last night. That's the way the glazed over look, like, oh, here we go. That's why I want to do a case study, because I'm telling you guys, and let me tell you, if this stuff I have is nothing and we find that and we learn that, fine. I will never, ever try to prove I'm right when I'm wrong. Okay, that's fine. But if this stuff is what I think it is, it's even too much. You can't believe it. You cannot believe it. And some of it is
so in a nutshell, and not that we're in a hurry or anything, but in a nutshell, what is the biggest what is the biggest reason why he should get out? Like,
because first and foremost, 30 years was plenty enough time for
plenty
his part. Okay. Second of all, he has had an impeccable prison record. Impeccable. Not even, no offense, because I love tats myself, not even one tattoo. The man has had no disciplinary anything. And that's what, when the prosecutor puts his little thing in the paper, he says, based on his disciplinary behavior while in prison, which is impeccable. But in Ohio, you can't get that proof. They don't release it. You can't FOIA it. So how do you go up against the prosecutor and say, prove to me? Because I've been talking to this guy. What they portray of him, that's the other thing, the fake news through the town. The whole town has been snowballed. So they think he's a monster. He's not. And, it's just hard to convince people of that. And just knowing every day, I have trouble. I don't even like to tell him what I had for dinner. I feel so bad about all of his hardships that it's uncomfortable to talk to him a lot. This has really come up lately. First of all, he has nothing really new. Everything I've learned about prison life, I learned on YouTube. I don't ask him. I don't want him to feel demeaned or anything to have to tell me, but I'm sure 42 years he's been there. He's got some stories.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, so, but we
Well,
usually talk the case and everything, you know, he and I.
yeah. Well, I mean, just know this, you know, and he probably tells you this. I'm sure of it, that because we do get to a certain point when we're doing our time that we just like, we accept it. And like that this is what, especially if we believe in God, that this is what God has for us, where he
Yes.
wanted us to be, you know, that, that he's okay. You know,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. It would be better for him to be out and,
Yes.
you know, it'd be a happy day for you,
Yes.
for everyone just to celebrate that. But
how would he even adjust after 42 years?
Oh, I mean, it would be hard. I mean, I bet you he would do anything to make that happen.
You know what?
We can accept things. Sorry, just real quick.
Oh, that's okay.
We can accept things like, yep, this is where we're going to be for the rest of our life. But if I was let out, that would be awesome too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's where he is, I think. Well, there was when I really got hot and heavy into this, and this was even when I was communicating with Serial, I was always still leery of what I said to him on the phone. You know, I know it's been all these years and everything, but who knows if they have AI that anytime the prosecutor's name is mentioned, they go back and listen to that call. I don't know. But so, right, it was after COVID, and I was going home to visit. See, the good thing is 15 plus years ago, about 17 years ago, he was housed right there in Leavittsburg, that's where my sister lived, 10 minutes from our town. So it was nice for his family and everything like that, because the prison itself was right there. Well, while he was there, his mother passed away, his sister passed away. He's losing people left and right. Lost a cousin and a really a friend of his and I's just within the past 6 months, 2 more. So, but anyway, so all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, first of all, we went through his parole and everything. He wasn't even excited at that point. He said, you know, it's a joke. But I was still really, you know, I thought we could do it. And sure enough, he said, I knew. But it wasn't long after that. And I was getting my visit approved because I was going to be in Ohio and I was going to see him. In the middle of the night, he was transferred to Mansfield, Ohio, which is hours and hours away.
Mansfield,
and it's a lower
security.
Yes, which I'm hoping it's a camp and it's easier and fun. But he hates it because there's no family there, you know?
Yeah.
And I wondered if they did that because they're listening and they know that I have not let this go. I don't know.
They very well could have. And because that does happen, especially in a big case like that, because it's a bit, I mean, there's a book written about it, right?
Well, no, the book is written about another case where one boy was already executed. Another boy's waiting to be executed. And the author of the book, his son is in prison. The man did manage to keep his son from getting the death penalty. But same prosecutor, and that brags about his, you know, spotless record and all the votes. And it's just, it's nuts. So,
yeah, that's awful, man.
And I don't know that he would do good out on the outside at this point, you know, but something needs to be done because this kid's life was destroyed.
Yeah.
He had a part in it, you know, the choices he made. But here's the other thing. It's about time because
I'm sure. Go ahead.
My kid was no angel himself, but I remember when he was 18, Randy had only been 18 for 1 month. He turned 18 in November. It happened in December. And I know my son made dumb choices. So did I. It was just so unfair.
Yeah. I don't want you to tell it about any private conversation you've had with him and maybe he doesn't know, but do you think the plan was to unalive that officer?
No, I don't. I don't think that Randy knew that plan. Fred might have had the plan because Fred knew he was heading to Florida. I don't know what was going through Fred's head. And Randy really doesn't either because he's never been able to have communication with them since the day they were arrested.
Yeah.
So now there is a really important character in this whole thing, a hitchhiker that they picked up on the way. And the prosecutor also, besides the behavior in prison, which is all lies, there is also basing on the testimony of the hitchhiker. He is basing the most recent parole hearing on the testimony of some felon himself, I'm sure, that they picked up hitchhiking, who was beat almost to death on the stand when he gave his testimony because he got to stay at the jail.
Yeah.
So it's just a mess. So, but that guy's still alive, and I would really like to know the real story because why did he testify on the stand beat up by the police? If you read the report, because actually during the trial, the community was asking, what happened to the hitchhiker? My God, he looks like somebody almost killed him. And the police came up with a report to explain what happened because they were housing him in the jail, unlocked cell, and providing him with alcoholic beverages and everything while he was staying. But that's such a conflict of interest.
Yeah. And the hitchhiker said that they talked about it and was like we're celebrating it or something. Wow. Is Fred still here?
Oh, yeah.
Or does he...
Fred gets parole more often because he's 17. Fred is the known main monster in this.
Wow.
And quite honestly, when all this started, halfway through the first half, I said, I don't know Fred. I don't know anything about him. And he's in a really bad situation because he actually did it. Let me just focus on Randy. But if the evidence I have proves to be real, Freddie should go too. Freddie should be allowed to go too. It's sick. It's sick. It is. And a lot of the players are dead.
Possibly it was self-defense, maybe? Or
no, Freddie's not unhinged. My sister was in his grade. I have a sister who was in 11th grade with him, and she has said from the time it happened, he was always, like you explained, that kid that everyone was intimidated by because he was a loose cannon.
Yeah, I had a friend, his name was Kurt Stachy, and I don't mind doxing him because I would love to fight him now. But he was that kid, and when I was in high school, whenever he would show up to a party, everyone would be like, "Oh man, Kurt's here," and it was only when he started drinking, but he would always like punch you,
Yeah,
and it was just the classic, kid, tough kid, bullying type stuff. And but then he would, we didn't even know what love bombing was then, but then when you were alone with him, he would like love bomb you and like just be your buddy, but then around other people he would like try to make you feel small. I know that kid. And I truly feel, and I should probably look into this more with Randy or talk to him more about it. I think Randy knew that because they grew up near each other, or at least spent some of their childhood years in the same neighborhood, that he knew Fred was a loose cannon, and he knew that I think that's why Randy got involved in the first place, trying to protect Fred from himself, knowing that Fred is a loose cannon, and this isn't no funny thing these guys are doing with him. I need to something wrong could happen, and then something wrong happened anyway. So, did Randy try to tell the story that the cops were using him as an informant or anything?
Here's
Fred?
The way it went down in the media, and to this day, this is the way everybody believes it, that Randy and Fred were both informants. Randy was never an informant. Okay.
Right.
everyone thinks that they were both informing. They both planned it. No, Randy wasn't informant at all. And he was just trying to keep Fred from getting sent to JJC till he's 21 type thing, you know?
Yeah.
And, but let me tell you, there are things in this story because Randy at a lot of the meetings, when they would go through ride arounds with these cops, he had a little cassette player in his jacket pocket because
see it, Jane.
he saw it on Serpico. And
Oh,
yes, I tried to get the real Frank Serpico's autograph for Randy. But anyway, yeah, he saw it on there and then thought of the idea. But you know, when they raided all of their belongings, because that tape recorder was back at Randy's house, that thing's
Yeah.
gone forever. But the
damn.
evidence is unreal. It's a clown show. It's the Keystone Cops, and the fact that they got by with it blows me away.
Yeah. Because I wonder, did the officers have anything on them that proved that they were using those kids as well?
The dead
Fred as an
officer,
informant?
yes, the one that was unalived, he had 7 Quaaludes in his pocket or in his sock, and Randy sold him 9 the night before. And after Randy had sold them to him, the guy kept asking,
Quaaludes.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so after Randy sold this cop the Quaaludes, the cop starts questioning Randy about this girl that also lives in Randy's neighborhood. We're kind of territorial in our little town. But anyway, this girl was a good friend of Randy. Her brothers were. But to see that.
Oh man. Hey guys, it is getting a little close to my appearance on Synchronized Souls. Oh, you know what I should do? Let me grab that link. And then we'll just redirect right over to that show when we are done here. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. So when this show ends, we will go right over to Synchronized Souls. Just 1 second. Yep, she'll be back. Just 1 second, guys. Isn't she cool, man? Yeah, we're going to have her back on and we're going to talk more about the Randy's story. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that didn't work. I'll be right there, Rhonda. Hey.
Okay. So yeah, we can wrap this up. But anyway, just to end that story, Randy, that whole night after the cop was questioning about the girl, thought, oh my God, I hope I didn't set her up for a date rape situation. The word date rape wasn't out back in the 80s, but he was thinking that. And the next day, the officer only had 7 instead of 9. And when the girl herself was interviewed after the crime, she stated that she was dating the cop.
Young girl. No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Wow, that is so crazy.
Yeah, I have that. I have everything.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, we need to do another show and talk just about the case.
And I'm going to give everybody my email for any kind of comments, anything. And it's rhonda.sue.stl@gmail.
Cool. So rhonda.sue.stl.
Yes.
So Rhonda Sue in St. Louis,
Yep.
home of probably one of my all-time favorite party rappers.
Who? Nelly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah. Me and Carol, we like to pretend we're rolling on dubs.
yeah. I just, because Nelly was just a cool, because I didn't like hip hop when Nelly came out,
Yeah.
but I did like his style and how he represented St. Louis and what it was like to be from St. Louis.
Yeah.
And yeah, just amazing.
It's amazing out here. I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rhonda, for coming
My
on
pleasure.
today.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
it was perfect. Perfect guest for my birthday.
Yes. Another
and,
sign. I thought, oh
Huh?
my good, this is a sign from God. I'm going in the right direction. It's on his birthday. So,
Yeah, yeah. And we're gonna talk about this a lot more. I promise. Okay. I know we don't like to use the word "I promise" here, but
And if you ever have quick questions about the case, now that I gave you an overview, just shoot an email.
I have so many questions you don't even know.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
yeah,
I'll be happy to answer them.
I really want to dive deep into this one.
Okay.
I really do.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Okay,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you. Everybody have a good afternoon.
All right. See you
Bye-bye.
later. Bye. Well, cool, man. That was super fun. I'm so glad I was able to have her on. I'm going to get a hold of Awaken next and see if she'll come on this week. Misha, I know you guys all know her, but I really don't. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and then schedule some other guests. But I'm really glad I was finally able to meet Rhonda. We're calling each other siblings from another mother. So that's my sister from another mother. Because she almost is kind of like the female version of me, right? Yeah, she told me that, and I was like, okay, let's see. Yeah, I feel like she is. So that's super cool. So when I end this stream, I'm hoping that everyone is redirected over to Synchronized Souls. Then I'm gonna go backstage and talk to them, and we'll get the show started over there in about 9 minutes. So okay, guys, get ready for the redirect, and I love you guys. Bye, and thanks, Rhonda, for coming on. You were just awesome.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay awake.